This is a very common myth, perhaps the most common myth that people believe to this day. Coach Greg, and today we're going over some of the worst weight loss myths. There are dozens of myths out there, but today we're focusing on 4 main ones. 4 myths today that still won't die, that millions of people believe and believe strongly. We explain all these, the science, why it's BS, and by the end of the video, hopefully, you'll no longer believe in these myths.
First one being hot workouts. If we're talking about efficiency and fat metabolism, they're far less effective because the room is so hot.
And number 1, as Jillian Michaels points out, hot workouts. People think that if they work out in a really hot room, or if they put a bunch of garbage bags or snowsuits or hoodies, jackets, and they can sweat off way more calories, get a better workout, burn more fat. Problem is, it's the exact opposite. It's actually the opposite. And so if you go to the gym and have 4 layers of clothes on and a hoodie so that you can sweat more, and it's 100 degrees, you're thinking, wow, look at all this sweat, I'm burning so many calories. It's the opposite. The studies actually support the opposite. And this is why. When you're exercising in a very hot environment, it is very difficult to go harder than last time. When you're exercising in a very warm environment, your body's thinking, no, let's make this person hold back. Let's not let him push as hard. After all, it's not safe, it's not healthy. If you go too hard, you're going to be forced to keep sweating. Your body's overheating. Your body has to sweat more to expel that heat. And when your body's overheated, it's much more tired for it to push hard. Marathon times around the world, the top times in the world, never performed in very hot environments. They're performed best in cool environments. Why? It's easier to dissipate the heat. So when you're exercising in a cool environment, you can actually burn more calories because you're able to go harder than last time. If it's too hot, you have to go slower. If it's cooler, easier to go fast. And I'm not telling you to go out and exercise in minus 100. I'm saying a cool environment. A little bit less than room temperature. Not freezing, but cool. And if you don't believe me, try it yourself. I know I did. When I'm exercising in Mexico on the bicycle, after about 30 minutes, I'm sweating so bad and I just simply can't go anymore. My heart rate is actually elevated. Your heart is beating faster, perhaps 10 or 15 beats more, to perform at the same work output. You're hot, you can't keep going. And how exactly do we burn fat? It's from a calorie deficit. And so the more calories you burn, the more the deficit. If you burn more calories in a workout, you're going to burn more fat. And when exercising in a really hot environment, you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to burn off more calories, I'm going to sweat it out. Really hot, you ride the bike for an hour. Problem is, it's so hot, you can't ride at the same pace. You're going slower. Perhaps on a normal day, you are going 30 kilometers an hour. It's so hot, you're no longer riding at 30, perhaps 27. You're burning fewer calories because you're putting out less power, less wattage. Also, your perceived level of exertion is higher. It's hot, you're panting, you're sweating, you feel gross. Chances are you might have wanted to go for an hour, you get to 45 minutes and you throw in the towel. Literally. The towel, you're trying to wipe off all the sweat, you're soaked through your shirt, and you don't want to keep going. Oftentimes when I went and exercised, I would say, I'm going to do an hour, get to 30 minutes, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Or I significantly put down the pace to be able to get to that hour, burn less calories. And what have I done to combat this? I quite literally carry 2 fans with me to the gym. It's so hot, and I've learned that with more fans, I can go harder. I can go faster, put out more power, go longer. Greater endurance. When I travel down south, I'm carrying fans with me around the resort. I go to the gym, have the fans, and I can push harder. Rather than stopping at 30 minutes, I can go the full hour. I don't feel bad. Wind's cooling me off, keeping me cool. And so how should you dress? Whatever cools you off the most. Moisture wicking. 1 layer of clothes. Not 3 layers and a hoodie on, sweating like crazy. Whatever allows you to train in the coolest environment, going to help you burn the most fat.
So when the room's really hot, you're like tired and you're kind of weak and you're kind of fatigued and you're not sitting as deep in that yoga pose. You're not holding it for as long. Your muscle contraction is not as intense. You're not doing as many reps, and the list goes on.
Exactly. So as you can see, if you're exercising in a cooler environment, you're going to be able to have a much more effective workout, which ultimately burns more calories, aka more fat.
Fasted cardio burns more fat. Not true. There have been many studies that have disproven this fact.
And number 2, fasted cardio. Doing fasted cardio at the end of the day does not burn more fat. You may in fact burn more fat during that cardio. The problem is that after the cardio is done, you burn less fat. It balances out. So whether you choose to do fasted cardio or fed cardio, no difference at the end of the day. If you consume the same amount of calories, no difference. But there is this one caveat. If you're doing fasted cardio and you lack the energy to go hard because you perform better after you eat, then you're going to burn fewer calories. If you burn fewer calories because you're doing fasted cardio, the net result is you'll burn less fat. So if deciding to do fasted or fed cardio, consider this. If you have the energy, you feel good, then go ahead, do fasted cardio. But if you want to eat, you perform better when you eat, then please eat. And if you do fasted cardio, remember, that is one opportunity for muscle protein synthesis to occur that won't. You didn't take in that protein, your muscles are not going to be triggered to build muscle. If you had consumed some protein before that cardio, that is your first stimulus for your muscles to grow. So my advice, if you do want to do fasted cardio, rather than that, eat a small snack. Maybe 15, 20 grams of protein, 200 calories. And I get it, perhaps you're waking up, you're in a rush, get that cardio, get it in, get it done. Well, why not grab a protein bar? For example, Seco protein bars. Calories in, calories out, 20 grams of protein, 200 calories. You open the wrapper up, bite into it, and you're on your way. You can eat it driving to work. Very, very simple. Obviously, it could be any protein bar. It doesn't have to be mine, but something quick and easy that gives you 20 grams of protein, plenty, stimulate muscle protein synthesis, help you build muscle, and you can go do your cardio knowing you have the energy to perform harder than last time.
And the fitness techniques that burn more fat are not actually steady state cardio at all. It doesn't rank. Resistance training, HIIT training, intensity training burns more calories.
Jillian then brings up what form of exercise burns the most fat, and she says, hey, this is what the research says. It's HIIT cardio, intensity exercises, not list cardio. The actual science does not agree with what she's saying. This is a very common myth. Perhaps the most common myth that people believe to this day is that HIIT cardio burns so much fat because of the afterburn. This is the truth. 6 to 15% of the calories that are burnt during a workout can be burnt as the afterburn. If you do 10, 20 minutes of HIIT cardio and burn a whooping 200-300 calories, the afterburn, 6 to 15% of that. Let's go with 300 calories. Hardly any of you are burning 300 calories in 20 minutes, but let's go with that anyway. 6 to 15% means you're going to burn approximately 18 to 45 extra calories. 45 extra calories from that HIIT workout in the afterburn. EPOC. That is not a lot. In comparison, if you do list steady state, a 1 hour walk, most people can burn 300-400 calories in a 1 hour walk. So although you went all out crazy, wow, oh my goodness, what an impressive specimen you are, you went so hard for 20 minutes. The person that walked at a slow pace for an hour burnt more calories than you during that hour and will burn more calories in EPOC. You know, the afterburn. Because you're burning more calories during that longer steady state cardio, the afterburn is going to be greater. And so people need to stop thinking there's a shortcut. You just need to go really hard 10-minute intervals, 20-minute intervals. That is not the secret to weight loss. The secret to weight loss is consistency, doing it repeatedly. Doing HIIT cardio 1 to 3 times a week, not nearly as effective at burning fat as doing steady state on a more continuous basis. Remember what I keep saying, 150 minutes of moderately intense cardio a week? You want to do that. It's not going to be more effective to say, I don't got time for that. I'm going to do 10, 20 minutes of HIIT twice a week. Not enough.
More calories when you're doing it, more calories when the workout's over.
And so no, it's not more calories when you're doing it, more calories when the workout's over. And if you actually look what HIIT cardio actually is, you're going to burn far fewer calories. The amount of calories you burn during exercise is the amount of weight carried over a certain distance. It's work, the amount of work done. If you sprint for 30 seconds and then walk for 2 minutes and sprint for 30 seconds and walk for 2 minutes, you're not going to burn as many calories as if you just jog at a steady state pace for the entirety of the workout. It just doesn't work like that. If it were true, then people who are running the 10K in the Olympics would sprint for 30 seconds fast as they could and then walk. And they would get to the line quicker because the person that burns the most amount of calories in the shortest period of time is the one that's going the fastest. How much you weigh over a certain distance, how many calories you're going to burn. And so if it was actually true that you burnt more calories during HIIT cardio, then it would make sense that doing HIIT cardio during a race would make you faster. Does that make sense? Do you think logically? Do you understand this? The faster you run the 10K, the more calories you burn in that set period of time. If you burn more calories during HIIT than you do during steady state, then you would be faster doing HIIT than you are doing steady state. Probably still don't understand, but you should.
Carbs make us fat. Fat makes us fat. This isn't true. It is well known that processed junk food can make us fat.
Or perhaps we need to go carnivore because fruits and vegetables, bad, full of sugar, fructose. The truth is, it's always calories in, calories out. Now, is it true that processed foods make us fat? The answer is no. You only get fat if you overconsume calories. However, if you consume processed foods and they make you hungrier and you end up eating more, then they indirectly are causing you to get fat. It's not the processed foods in themselves that are inherently bad. It's the fact that they can encourage you to overeat calories.
It can throw off your biochemistry, your metabolism.
Whether they throw off your hormonal balance or not, they cause you to be hungry or not, at the end of the day, you still need to eat those extra calories. If you're not eating those extra calories, then even a shitty diet will result in weight loss.
Health and weight don't inherently intersect. We want them to, but let's look at an avocado. There's a ton of healthy fat in there, micronutrients, the vitamins and the minerals. It's a really healthy food. It's also a calorie-dense food. If you eat too many avocados, you will store the excess energy in them as fat.
And just because the food's healthy doesn't mean it's going to help you lose weight. She lists an avocado, healthy fats, very good for you. Problem is, very high in calories. So if you overeat on avocados, even though they're healthy, you're still going to gain weight. And on the other extreme, if all you eat's junk, Jelly Belly, candies, pizza, and so on, but you're eating in a deficit, you are in fact going to lose weight. So you can't just eat healthy and expect to lose weight. You need to eat in a calorie deficit.
You can be a very thin person, a quote, skinny person, and be overwhelmingly unhealthy. You can have heart disease and cancer and type 2 diabetes because you're eating garbage.
And so if you eat nonstop junk, horrible diet, not enough nutrients, you can still be very thin, but be very unhealthy. You're not getting the nutrients you need, not getting enough protein, vitamins, minerals, and so on. You can still be very unhealthy. You can be thin and unhealthy. And on the other extreme, you can be overweight and be healthier than someone who's thin. But you can't be healthier when you're obese as you would be if you ate healthy and were lean. Sorry, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want to hear healthy at every size. 400 pounds, but I eat perfectly? I'm healthy. I run every day. Problem is, if you're 400 pounds and run every day, you're not as healthy as if you were 300 pounds and ate every day. Assuming you're eating the same diet, health, and so on, if you're a leaner person, perhaps 15% for men, 25% for women, you're going to live a longer and healthier life than if you're morbidly obese. Everyone should agree with this.
Food timing. So I'm sure you guys have don't eat at night. Don't eat in the morning. Eat small meals all day. Eat one meal a day. OMAD. Food timing and weight loss. It's not connected.
Number 4, food timing. Had enough of this. People seem to think that it all depends on if you're fasting, if you're OMAD, if you're eating 5 meals a day, twice a day, 10 times a day, every 2 hours, not after midnight, before supper, in the breakfast, fasted in the morning, don't eat till lunch, skip breakfast, only eat supper, eat within a 6-hour window. Too much. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
The Rock knows this. You should know it too. Do not think that you can just eat a certain amount of foods in a certain amount of time and you're going to be okay. It's always, every single time, going to be, at the end of the day, calories in, calories out. Whether you eat all your meals in one sitting or 20 sittings, it doesn't matter. What matters is you're in a calorie deficit. That is the only way you're going to lose weight and lose fat. Granted, if you want to go and fast 16 hours, 20 hours, and so on for the benefits of autophagy, well, that's up to you. You can do that perhaps for health purposes, for autophagy, you can fast. But if you exercise, you train harder than last time like me, you're getting those benefits of autophagy from doing the hard exercise. I don't need to fast because I'm exercising. So if you're exercising, you don't need to worry, you don't need to fast. You're going to get plenty of benefits, all the benefits you need, and you're doing cardio. Who do you think's more healthy? The person who's doing cardio, who's healthy, getting in 150 minutes of cardio a week or more? or the person who doesn't do cardio and fasts? Really, pick one. The person who fasts, doesn't exercise or do cardio, or the person who eats 4 to 5 times a day and does cardio. I hope you choose the latter and not the one to go up on the roof. So how should you eat? Whatever way is easiest for you to control your calories. If you find it easier to eat once a day and eat the amount of calories you're supposed to eat, then do that. If you find eating 5 times a day easier to control your calories, do that. But remember this caveat. Your body composition, it's not just about how much fat you're burning, it's also about how much muscle you have. If you're only eating once a day, that is fewer times for your body to build muscle. So if you choose to do an OMAD diet or you're fasting, eating all your calories in a certain window, it's going to be more difficult for you to optimize muscle growth. Not saying you can't, not saying you won't, saying it's more difficult. So if your goal is also to have a lot of muscle and you want the easiest time to do so, better to eat more meals up to 4 or 5 times a day than to fast.
Creating a minimum of a 12-hour overnight fast, right, from dinner to breakfast the next day, up to 14, 16 can be done. I will eat like a wild woman. I finally do eat. I find that it causes me to overeat.
And so for Jillian, if she fasts for too long or if she skips meals, she ends up wanting to binge. If that's the case for you, then don't do it. You should know your body. Be proactive. If you know that fasting causes you to overeat later in the day, then don't do it. However, if you like fasting and you find that's a great way to control your calorie intake, then do it. No two people are exactly alike. Do what works best for you. And so bottom line, skip the fad diets. Do what works best for you. Learn your body. Do what works best. Be proactive. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. Check out one of the bloops. Try watching the bottom one. That's the best one. Also, Harder Than Last Time supplements, the Circle Diet book, the cookbooks, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, and until next time, I am out.